Hello, my fellow book lovers, and anyone else who's just popped in because you're curious or lost. I'm Chatty, and this is my channel, Chatty the Mad Chatter. Today we're doing the March TBR. So I am still working on my book game, so it's going to be draft version again, but this time I actually have some prompt cards. So I'm going to be using those in the game rather than I'd previously been assigning prompts to a number and spinning a wheel. So essentially the game is snakes and ladders, but they're book ladders and bookworms. And then each of the prompts that aren't a ladder or a worm, I've got different colours that mean different things. And I can assign whatever things I want to each colour. So today, pink is going to be pick a prompt, but I've got 30 seconds to find a book to fit that prompt. If I land on a yellow, then I pick a theme card. These are the theme cards, and each of those will have a word on it where I have to pick a book that has that word either in the title or in a picture on the cover somewhere. Blue, we are also using the prompt cards again, but this time I will pick 6 randomly and put them in an order. I'll look at all of them and then I'm going to roll the dice and let the dice decide which prompt we're using. And then green, we have Lucky Dip. So in here I have got little bits of paper, and all of them are the oldest books that I own or have borrowed and haven't read yet. So it's a Lucky Dip for vets. I do have another one that's Lucky Dip for new books, so the ones I've kind of attained within like the last 3 months. But this is the vet one we're going for today. So I already have a lot of things that I want to read this month. There are read-alongs that I'm taking part in, buddy reads. We have the Aurelian Gear Up readathon that's coming up, doing a separate TBR for that because pretty sure this one will be long enough anyway. And then we also have my book project, my Chatty's Challenge, which I am trying to work on throughout the year. So with this, I'm just going to do 4 rolls again for this game. And if I can fit some books in, great. But my main thought is this, is I'm really in the mood for middle grade. So this is going to help me choose off my shelves what middle grade I feel like reading. So I'm going to choose 4 books, and then I'm hoping that most of them will be middle grade. And then I really enjoy seeing those drink a cup of tea, try a chapter videos. So I'm going to do those to work out which of those books I will definitely be reading this month, because I think I'm only going to be able to squeeze in 1 because I've got so many other stuff that I want to do. Let's play the game. So essentially this is snakes and ladders with book prompts. First roll on the small square, I just use the 1 dice. We have a 5. So let's see what way I'm going to pick. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we go up a ladder. So we have a ladder prompt for our first one. Nice one to start on. We have a lucky ladder. And I've done the card. So we're going to shuffle and we're going to pick. Okay. Shuffle. Let's pick. What is your most anticipated series? So, that could be so many. That could be so many, but it's nice and vague. So I can definitely pick a middle grade. Probably my most anticipated is Hollowpox. But I don't know if Mum's going to be ready to read it with me. And I kind of just need to fit it in. So I'm not going to choose that one. So, let's go and see what we have. Okay, I was toying between a few, but actually I saw this one. I'm like, no, definitely. So the one I am most anticipated about is Rainbow Grey by Lauren Ellen Anderson, and this is a Waterstone special edition. Just look at the pretty. So I have been reading the Amelia Fang series to my eldest, and I love her brain. I called her Lauren, didn't I? Laura, I'm so sorry. Laura Ellen and still Anderson. Laura Ellen Anderson. I love her brain. She illustrates all of these herself. And are you ready for super adorable? So pretty, and look at the big fluffy cloud cat. Who doesn't want a fluffy cloud cat? So in Amelia Fang we have adorable Squashy as the fun animal companion, and in here we have a cloud cat. Do I need to say anything else? There's a cloud cat. Let's do the second roll. Now I'm on the second level. We use 2 dice. And we have a 2 and a 3, which is 5 again. And because I went that way round, that is the way round I am now going. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's pink. So that's a book prompt on a timer. I'm gonna need to stop this because I'm recording on my camera and my timer is also on my phone, and I am not techie enough to know how to do anything about that. So I probably should go and get an actual timer to do this on. So you're just going to have to trust me that it took me 30 seconds. Or I could start a video again, and when it's got to 30 seconds of the video, yes, I can do that one. Okay, anyway, let's pick the prompt, and then I will very quickly restart the video. Okay. Right, the prompt is a new series. Okay, wobbly, okay. Wobbly, 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 wobbly. New series, new series, new series, new series. New series. Middle grade new series that I want to start is The Wizard of Wands. Or do I? Yeah, I do. No, I don't. Yeah, I do. No, I don't. I'm doing it now because I've picked it. But did I want to get into a new series straight away? Yes, I did. I did. Indecision there, where I was suddenly like, hold on, do I really, really want to get into a new series where I have all the books at once? Yes, I do. I do. I want to read this series. I'm excited about this series. I'm excited to read the Cressida Cowell. This book really, I'm very excited about this book. But I am also aware I have other books where they have been over there waiting for me for a while, and they are actually the start of series because they're a companion novel. And I've got another one where I've just got the one. But no, I want to read this series. We're going this one. I'm acting like I'm still on a timer and I've got to hurriedly talk about this. I can talk to you about this now. So, The Wizards of Wands is a middle grade fantasy novel by Cressida Cowell, who is best known for the How to Train Your Dragon series, which I'm really enjoying and can't wait to start this series. We're following 2 characters. One is a warrior. We've actually got illustrations. Here we go. Here we go. We have Wish, who is a warrior, and we have Zah, who is a wizard. And the wizards and warriors don't get on. There they are. And the wizards and warriors don't get on. And that is all I know. If you want to know any more, then I'll link it in Storygraph. I'll put a Storygraph link to it. But I like knowing as little as possible about books before I read them. It's enough it's Cressida Cowell. It's enough that I'm excited. That I've heard really good things about this series from Gavin Henderson at How to Train Your Gavin. So, yay! Once there was magic. Third roll. Ah! So there we go. Dice overboard, we have 4, so that is 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whoa, get off my finger. And that is a blue. Okay, this time we've got a blue. So let's reshuffle the prompt cards. And I'm going to pick 6 this time. I'm going to lay them out and I will roll a dice to pick one of those 6. And the cards were the same colour as the chair, so I've put some fabric over the top. Urban or city book? Oh, you absolutely can't see this, it's ridiculous. So we have urban or city book. We have a cosy book. We have author or title. That's going to be tricky. Author or title, and then I do a letter wheel spin and pick a letter. A nature or outdoor book. I don't know how well these have been shuffled. A new book, either a new book I've acquired or a new book that's been published. And expanding my horizons, a book with an LGBTQ plus protagonist or an own voice author. So, I definitely have thoughts of what I could do for a nature or outdoor book. There's quite a few that would fit that. Not so much the urban or city books. I really don't want author with the letter title. I definitely have an idea that would help with my LGBTQ plus. I definitely have books that I have in mind for that one. A new book, that should be quite simple as well. Cozy book, quite a lot of the books that I want to read in middle grade are cozy. So it's, as long as it's not number 1 and number 3, I will be happy. So let's roll the dice. Here we go. Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, that's not helpful. We're going to roll again. Don't fall. 5. Yes, 5. Okay, that is a new book.
And it just
amazing.
So happens that I went to the library today where I picked up this. So this is definitely a new book to me. It's the latest book to come into the house. And this is the Adventures on Trains series by M.G. Leonard and Sam Sedgman. And the first one is called The Highlands Falcon Thief. So I'm very excited about this one. I've been hearing really good things on all the YouTubers that I follow who read middle grade. So I'm really excited, and I picked it up from the library because I really feel like I want to end up, as much as I love fantasy, I'm reading a lot at the moment, and I wanted a book that was not a fantasy. I wanted more of a thriller, mystery was kind of the vibe I was looking for when I was going around the library, and this fits that perfectly. So yay!
Right, final prompt. Oh, keep losing them overboard. That's a 3 and another 3, which makes 6. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no! 6. We got a worrying worm.
And we have a worrying worm to finish on. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's pick. What's it gonna be? Okay, we'll see. So it is a book with a 3-word title. So let's me go and find books with 3-word titles. So I got a bit stuck on this. If you have a 1-word title or a 4 or 5-word titles, they seem to be really easy to find. 3 words, it's really hard. None of the middle grade I have are 3-word titles. None of them. They're just either 1 word or they're just really long. I did find 2 possibilities. The True Queen by Zen Cho and Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson, both of which I want to read. However, they are both second books and I have not yet read the first, although Words of Radiance is a reread for me. But if I'm doing taste testing with these, I can't go into a second book without having read the first. That's not going to work. And I don't want to wait till I've read the first one, so I won't have time to read both. So they're out. And rereads in general, I think, are out, because I caught sight of, I can't remember what I saw now, but I caught sight of another one anyway. I was like, I know, I can't taste test a book I've already read. That doesn't make sense. However, I have found a book that is part of my, I want to read this before other books that are part of my Chatty Challenge. And it's nice and small, and it is The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson. So this is a novella set in the same world as Atlantis, which was his debut novel and the first book that he wrote in the, obviously, because it's his debut novel, in the Cosmere. It's a Cosmere book that I haven't read, so I'm excited. So this definitely works. So haha, worrying worm. It's fine in the end. Okay, so these are all the books the game has given me. So our lucky ladder gave us Rainbow Grey, which I'm anticipating. A prompt 30 seconds, Wizards of Once, first book in the series. The newly acquired book, the Highland Falcon Thief, and book with a 3-word title from that worrying worm that did not defeat me was The Emperor's Soul. This has been so much fun. Maybe I will do this. Maybe I will do this as a choice all the time, because none of these are on my planned TBR, and I really just enjoy the randomness and the freedom and the mood of just grabbing books I wasn't even thinking of reading this month. So this is really exciting. So yes, I will do a taste test for this. So if you're not a middle grade fan, you probably won't be interested in that video, but if you are, you're in for a treat. Right, so now let's look at the books that are part of my plan. Okay, let's get into all the reading buddies, read-alongs, things. So first of all, we have Scythe by Neil Shusterman. Not Scythe, Scythe. I can never pronounce that word. Scythe by Neil Shusterman, which is the first book in a young adult dystopia trilogy that was very, very popular, and that was before I was aware of books and booktube and things like that. And Evie from the channel She Was Only Evie is doing a read-along of this on her Discord. I will put in the links below if you are interested and want to check out her channel and her Discord. So all I know about this book is that it's dystopia and that the world has no one dies unless you are killed, because science is so advanced, they've eradicated natural death of old age and disease. It just doesn't happen anymore. So you have people who are trained to give out death randomly to keep the population down. So it's kind of like culling humans. So I want to see exactly what this is like. And yeah, it's been on my radar for a while, and I'm finally going to read it, and I'm looking forward to all the discussions. And all the other books I'm talking about now, they're all part of read-alongs that are on Shelf Space Discord. So Shelf Space was a channel started by Jessie Mae that is now being run by her and her friends. And each month they choose a book, and then there is a read-along for it. And there is a specific channel where you can chat about all your thoughts on it. And it's just a really nice way to read books. And the book this month is The Fellowship of the Ring, which is the first book in the Lord of the Rings adult fantasy trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. And it's also a classic. This is a classic book. So the booktubers Abby from the channel at Abby Salter and Stephanie from Stephanie's Bookverse will be reading this, will be leading the read along on this, and they will be having a live show. I will imagine it would be either the end of March or April, most likely April. I first read this when I was in secondary school after the Peter Jackson film came out. I loved the film. I'd previously read The Hobbit, and after the film I then read the whole trilogy of books and had a brilliant time. But I haven't read them since, so I'm really excited to reread this. And I have the audio of Andy Serkis reading it on Scribd. So I'm excited to be reading this, because I don't do many books by audio because I like to be more in control of the story, and I like to read physically. That's my favourite way to read. It just works really well for me. But when it's a book that I've already read, or a book that I might need some help to read, I think audio is good. So I'm looking forward to that one. This one I'm probably not going to get to this month. If by some miracle I do, or if I just fancy feeling in the mood and picking it up, then I will pick it up. But this is the final book in Inkworld, which is a children's fantasy series. It is middle grade, but I think it's very high end, middle grade, lower end, young adult. So it's very big and it's quite dark. At least the second one was. So I read these late teens, early 20s, and I haven't reread them. I've only read this once because I only recently picked this one up because I read the other one from the library and then never got around to getting myself a copy, and then they changed the covers, and then they changed the covers again, and I wanted it to match the ones I originally had, and I just think it's really cool. I just really love the old book type spine on it. So I'm reading this with a friend on Shelf Space Discord, and it's been really lovely to reread the Ink World again, to experience Inkheart, which absolutely lived up to all the nostalgia, all the lovely feels that I had about it the first time I read it. Inkspell I enjoyed but didn't love as much as Inkheart, and I think I did enjoy Inkdeath more than Inkspell from what I remember, but I could be wrong with the reread, I don't know. So I'm looking forward to all the chats and all the rereading whenever I get to it. And the final book is also a reread, but it's to help me finish off a series that I started last year but only read the first 2 books in. And this is a Marmite book series, and it is the first book in the Chorus of Dragons by Jen Lyons, The Ruin of Kings. So I first came across this when Jessie Mae was doing her read a book with Elle each month and do a live show, and I really enjoyed this. I had a great time. I think I ended up just giving it 3 stars because some of it worked and some of it didn't, but enough of it worked, and I enjoyed so much of it that I did want to pick up the second one, and I really loved the second one. So I'm really looking forward to rereading this, and then just reading a book above reading the whole series. And quite a few people on the Shelf Space Discord were interested in reading it as well. So there is a channel on Shelf Space Discord with The Ruin of Kings, and hopefully if we get enough people wanting to read it, then we'll be able to do the full series, which I'm very excited about. So if you like linear plots that just go, here's the beginning, there's the end, this book will not be for you. I really enjoy the chaos of the writing style. I find it a lot of fun. So you have, the story starts in the present and 2 people are having a conversation about what happened, and the first person goes back to retell the story and the second person says, you're not telling it right, it actually starts here. So you've got this timeline from the second person going on and this timeline from the first person going on, and then by the last third or the last quarter you reach the present, and then the story continues. Alongside that, you have another character who is logging this and making footnotes. And if that's not enough, there's about 3 or 4 different plots happening in here. And then there's stuff like reincarnation as well. So it's highly confusing, which is why I'm so excited to reread it and see if I enjoy it so much more in a reread, if I have more of an idea of what's going on. But I find it so funny. There is a definite kind of humour and tone to this, which really works for me. I didn't gel with these characters until quite a way into the book. Like, I enjoyed it, but I didn't have that connection with them until I was quite far into the book. But the second book, The Name of All Things, I connected to the characters straight away, but it was different characters. So yeah, so The Name of All Things are different characters. I might do a video where I try and explain what's happening in these books as in terms of like the timeline and where they are. I might do that because that might be fun. But anyway, neither Jessie or Elle liked this book. So the live show I found quite entertaining. And this ended up being like one of the worst books definitely for Jessie that they read. But Katy from the channel Brightness Katy, she loves this series. So if you want to see 2 different opinions, hence the Marmite of this, I will put the descriptions down in there. Jordan from A Hardback Life did not like this at all. Same reasons as Jessie, but Jade from Jade Way Read absolutely loved this. So it is very much one way or the other. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what everyone else is going to think. I'm excited for the conversation. I'm really excited for this. Really excited for this. So just to change it up a bit, because we have fantasy, mystery, fantasy. So I went to the library today, as I already mentioned, and as well as getting a middle grade, I also got an adult book. as I'm in the mood for some sort of thriller or crime novel, and I have gone with Rainbirds by Clarissa Gowanoan. Apologies if I'm pronouncing that name wrong. So this is a story that is set in Tokyo. It sounds very mysterious. There could be a bit of a ghost element to it as well. And there is a mystery disappearance or possibly murder. I can't remember which one. I just look at the back briefly. And so I'm very excited to try another thriller crime book and see if I enjoy it. And the next books that I may read this month are all to do with my chatty challenge, my project, which is reading some of the top 5 books in the Goodreads Choice Awards in adult fantasy over the last 7 years. So I have The Shape of Water by Guillermo del Toro and Daniel Kraus. I have The Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. So I've mentioned these both in videos that I'm doing about my challenge, so I will link that here if I've got techie enough to do that. And I know very little about either of them. I'm not sure what I'm going to think of this one, but I'm curious and I feel I'm going to really enjoy this one because I really like the sound of the premise. So now the rest are all books that I want to read before I get to the books that were actually listed on the Goodreads Choice Awards. So, I have a big pile of Brandon Sanderson. So I have Warbreaker. I've never read Warbreaker. I really want to read Warbreaker because I feel that there are some things in here that might then cross over in the other Sanderson books. I then have The Way of Kings, which is book 1 in the Stormlight Archive. I have already read this, although not this pretty copy. I read it in 2020 was when I found Sanderson, thanks to my brother, and I loved this. I pretty much read the Stormlight Archive back to back. I just love these end pages in the American hardback that they have. And I was supposed to read this last month, but didn't. I really hope I need to get to it this month. This is definitely being read this month. Whether or not I also read Words of Radiance, which is upside down. Let's try that again. Whether or not I also read Words of Radiance remains to be seen. But I want to. But we'll see if there's enough time. And the Words of Radiance end papers. Beautiful artwork. And then another fabulous map. Do love a map. I do love a map. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 books on the shelf of possibilities. There is no way I'm reading 14 books. It will not be happening. I'll just be reading one of these. I hope to read this and this and this. And then remains to be seen. Possibly definitely these two and then one of those and maybe this. We will see. So cheers. Happy reading, everyone.